Thank you for counting me out. 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 If it wasn't for you, I'd be worried about all the shit that you saying now. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out. That was a bitch. You can fuck around and slip. You can fuck around and trip. Fall off a cliff. Bounce right back, get rich. Hit it right back in your dick. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out, bitch. Thank you for counting me out.
Will I be fine without your mentions? Your purest of ill intentions. Your dire need for attention. That's some crackhead shit. You willing to take whatever you need to get where you going. Going. You willing to steal, you willing to kill, you willing to die for it.
Walking on the thin line for it. Fighting on to your life for it. What the fuck is your life form? I start a riot in the quiet storm. Motherfuckers gon' count you out and cut you off. Take a loss, looking back and smile. Stab your back, cut your throat, fuck it off and waste all your time. Thank you for counting me out. 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 If it wasn't for you, I'd be worried about all the shit that you saying now. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out. That was a bitch. You can fuck around and slip. You can fuck around and trip. Fall off a cliff. Bounce right back, get rich. Hit it right back in your dick. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out, bitch. Thank you for counting me out. Is it me or is it kinda lonely standing on your own feet, living at the top? It'll be somebody from your own team ran for the whole thing, waiting for the drop. Knew I was done, knew that I wasn't the 1, 2, 3. Couple you niggas applied, planned to bring my demise to me. Couple of years ago, you was hanging around, I thought you was a groupie. The circle is small, the SUV now, I picked that bitch up in the 2-seat. I could recall niggas hopping, stepping over me, knowing the true colors, but they showing me glowingly, going dark on them totally. Fuck them. Count me out. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out. If it wasn't for you, I'd be worried about all the shit that you saying now. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for. That was a bitch. You can fuck around and slip. You can fuck around and trip. Fall off a cliff. Bounce right back, get rich. Hit it right back in your dick. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for counting me out, bitch. Thank you for counting me out. Thank you for. Suspect a thing. Cause I don't have the time to waste my energy. For anyone's opinion that keep pushing, pulling me away. You can find me in the upper echelon, that bitter taste. This is motivation, patiently the waiting for my expiration. Turn around and say congratulations, but the journey's been a jungle, all the hoops I jump through. Niggas throwing stones, living in a glass house. Foot up on the gas, nigga, I'm a mash out. Your results don't match with what the fuck you talking about. The juice ain't worth the squeeze, my nigga, please. In a world of wannabes, the real effect, you can stay or you can leave. You can fail or you can achieve. All depends what you wanna be, either red or the green, what you wanna see. A shot of grave to the enemy, a shot of reality is the remedy. I'm in the way to the door closed. How you tell a nigga with this much drive that it's a long road? Dreams. Take a hold of my destiny. Falling trees.
Hello? Okay. That's embarrassing. My bad. I was going on a rant about contacts. It's okay. You don't really need to hear that. It's not important. It's not important. All right, let's go ahead and get to it today. All right, so market has been kind to us over the past day or so, and kind of got what we were hoping for. So, I mean, yes, we do see. Let me go to a trading view chart for this. I was just saying hi to everybody, saying hi to Ryan. I was just saying, like I can order contacts at will, which is insane to me. But we'll save that for later. Let's just jump into the TA. All right, so on Ethereum, we do see kind of an ABC within this, but all in all, with how these are structured out, especially this last wave here, I do think I'll be holding on to this short for a little bit. I do think I want to see, if we are going to turn this into an ABCA, B, C situation, I don't think, probably a retest of maybe this level right here would be viable. It's psychological as well as, real right here. BTC, kind of the same deal. We are sitting pretty much at the local low right now, but if we take the top to bottom, we still have a little bit of ways to go until we hit that 0.5, 0.382 area. And like I said, I do think this is going to be long and drawn out, which is unfortunate for the contest. All right. I don't necessarily think that there's going to be like these gigantic moves to the upside or to the downside. I do think it's kind of going to be a rounded bottom, and it's unfortunate the time the contest is happening, because if we are forming an Adam and Eve structure, typically the Adam and Eve, the Eve is just very long and drawn out. It's going to be a nice, little thing like this. But hopefully we can catch that last stretch and maybe add a little bit to the portfolio. And definitely, I think my personal profit probably will be sitting somewhere around like 35-40% once we hit this bottom here and we take profit. And hopefully if we catch that long, maybe we can get up into the 70s or the 80s. Because as of right now, I like the statistics. In order to place within the top 10, at least, I do think you need around 70%. Oh, 114 now, but obviously that's due to change. I mean, this used to be 400% here, so we'll see what's going on. Our regional ranking is 49, not too shabby. I don't know what that's based off of, but that's based off of Sweden, because that's where my, thing is, but we'll see. This dude's going crazy. 1000%, taking 100x longs. Absolutely insane. Insane in the membrane. All right, but let's go ahead and jump into it. I mean, we pretty much said what we need to say. I haven't touched LTC just because we lost that entry. And of course, yeah, it was on this little stretch right here. Now, unfortunately, we did not get that retest. If we do, I might take the entry, but who knows? XMR had a beautiful retest right here, and a little bit of rejection back down. Check out the S100. Straight dropped off a cliff. Fish, stop, buddy. You know people live here. Come on, man. Come on. We're still holding that ABC entry, and this is looking like a retest here. So there's possibly room for a bounce short term. I am hoping to see kind of like, an A, B, hopefully like an A, B, C, something like this. Something really elongated before we start moving to the upside. Help build out this bottom. SPY has fell back below, but not by much. I mean, this was pretty much, I would consider this within that range, because once again, with these large time frames, yeah, I'd be sticking to something like this instead. But I'm hoping for bearish price action, but we'll see what goes on. Now, if we are in the alternative of this, like I said, I think that 16.5 to 16.1 could still be a possibility to get hit. And we checked out the 3K bottom over here. And typically most of these bottoms have some sort of larger ABC structure and then a small ABC on the C wave before it begins kind of like this movement to the side. All right, long, drawn out price action. So if that is the same thing that's happening over here, I would suspect that, you know, obviously this could be it. All right, here. This could be our first A, BCA, and then this is the C wave. And that could mean that we see a lower low. Once again, it could mean something like this, which would be the more preferable option. Definitely a lot more profit to be made if that's the case. All right, if this is the first ABC, not the last within the C wave, we could expect, you know, a poke down to like the 16,000s, and hopefully within this, we get some sort of A, B, C. All right, that would allow us to grab the bottom entry, and that would mean that this was not the pump to the upside with the long rounded bottom, but rather this would be, and that would allow us to get some nice profit and then have a nice short, probably coming back down to retest some of these levels, and then we can, you know, round it out and hopefully start pumping back to the upside. Like I said, all right, I'm not on either side of bearish or longs. All right, obviously right now with the broken local low of this macro here, all right, I was bearish. Before I was bullish. Now we're kind of like in no man's land. All right, I can't be bearish or bullish because I have to wait for the market to show me what's up. Obviously right now with a bearish sentiment and us not sitting at support, I am slightly more bearish than bullish. But once we get back down to this local low, I will play it as such. I do think that, you know, it will hold. Not because I have severe trust in it, but that's what I view the market as. Supports are supports until they are shown not to be. All right. Once again, it's not about being right. It's about keeping your sanity, keeping your cool, while everybody else is losing it. That's how you maintain profit. All right. If we do happen to fail, 16.3. All right. Obviously, we could have a quick recovery if we do happen to have kind of like a fake out and overreaction. But if we sustain price action below 16.3, I do think the likelihood of us coming back down anywhere to 10K to 8K, obviously the median being 9K, would be respectable. Past that point, we'll be looking at, you know, some much lower lows. Obviously, this one could be used, but I wouldn't put too much money on it just because of this price action willing to slip down very easily. That's pretty much it. Nothing really crazy to talk about today. Just bask in the price action. Be happy the market moved in your preferred direction and wait for the market to continue doing what it do. So, let me open up the chat on the screen over here. Johnny on the spot. Hello. Missed the secret to trading. Isn't 10K the big psychological number? I guess you could say that, man, but I don't really care about psychological numbers. I care about what the market actually did. All right, and yeah, there is a support at 10K. So, like I said, yeah, it's not the fact that it's a psychological number, it's the fact that it's a real number. It's hard not to take profit. Same situation for ETH and SOL and LTC, but still not touching the 0.5. Just takes time, man. Like I said, if you gimp yourself on the good trades, when you do hit those hard times, you won't have the available account size to like outlast the storm. It's just the way the wind blows. Hi, would you say we have an inverse Adam and Eve in the 4-hour chart? I think I saw, were you the one that messaged on the charts channel? I checked that right before I hopped on stream. Like, of course, that could be a possibility, but you're kind of like doing like an abstract drawing. Like you're taking advantage of like the negative, if that makes sense. Because you're looking at it like this. Now you said ETH, right? I'm suspecting like either this is the atom or you're saying that this is the Eve right here. But there was no like pump right here. But definitely could be a possibility. It would be good for our shorts, most definitely. ABC, 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 ABC. Why don't you add members in YouTube? I feel like that's double dipping for me personally. Once again, like I try very, very hard to make sure that I maintain integrity. I have the Patreon. It's more than generous with what it supplies me. You know, I don't want to seem like I'm trying to make money off of you guys in every way, shape, or possible. And I don't have anything to offer for members. I guess it could be like private streams, but I don't know. Been long since 18K missed the hedge. Oh, nice. Okay, what do you think about buying at a USDC USDT pair? Bad for USDT? No. Like I said, theoretically, there is no depegging USDT. People freak out about the small differences that they see in the chart because when you have something that's so stable as USDT, even like a cent looks like a massive wick. And they go, oh, it's getting depegged. Do I think that USDT is 100% legit? No. But they are a fraud. They're fraudulent enough to make sure that nobody sees it. And they've been this long. I mean, they've been through 2 bear markets so far. I mean, I think they'll last forever. Only time will tell. I really don't, at this point in time, it really doesn't matter to me. I'm mostly an inverse perpetual as we're hitting these local lows. Kite just finished a stream with Bill of Token Metris. And, I thought you were saying I just finished a stream with him. And he basically scared the shit out of everyone, saying that stablecoins might not be stable, USDC and Tether not safe. Or to park funds. You park funds and, you know, you can cash out to US dollars or you can just DCA. What's up, Kite? Hope everything's been good with you, man. Absolutely, man. Breaked up a little bit on my sleep schedule last night, but I woke up at a decent time. But went over to the store yesterday, picked up some steaks. Gonna cook those up. Last night was my first botched steak. It just wasn't getting a good sear on it, and I think it's just because I was rushing because it was late at night, and I just ended up botching it. Came out like pretty much well done. Sucked ass, but I think it's a mixture of, I used the moist vacuum on the vacuum sealer, which I've never used that before, so that might have had something to do with it. Because if you can't get a good sear on a sous vide steak, it's usually because there's too much moisture on the outside of the steak. I think that's what I did. Okay, could you recommend all the books you read to learn the technicals in the market? The only book that I really put a lot of time and effort into was Harmonic Elliott Wave, A Case for Modification of R. and Elliott's Impulse Wave Structure by Ian Copsley. I did look at things like a visual guide to Elliott wave theory, which was a good step in the right direction, but the problem is that there's so much going on with Elliott wave base that the modifications will really set it apart. Allowed me to simplify things and really just take things easy. which helped my mental a lot, which helped my portfolio a lot. But I think mostly the best things for you in your account would definitely be like the Shobo Genzo, like a translation of that. Trading in the zone. Anything that has to do with being able to watch yourself do actions. Because you want to set trading up as if it's a code that you run like a robot, which means there is some sense of having to be on autopilot and letting the brain, the body take over of situations, and you not having to put too much thought into it, because Alan Watts says, thinking is a good servant but a bad master. And if you're constantly critically thinking 100% about every single decision that you make, you start confusing yourself on what might be the correct decision. But after you teach yourself what needs to be done, you should let yourself just do it. There should be no thinking involved. It should be robotic. But at the same time, this is where it gets tricky. You do have to watch the robot, and that that's what meditation is. It's watching the person make actions, and being able to intercept those actions when need be. There is not always a need for it, but sometimes there is. I do dab it dry. I just think this time around it was just too moist. When we get to stop loss, we place a new entry right away or wait. When we get to stop loss, yeah, so like let's say for example that we have a short position and price came up and then price came back down below the A. Okay, so you entered your short. Let's say price action was an asshole and it wicked you out right here. I would set up my conditional again. Then if we came back below this line, this one, all right, I would re-enter that trade. And you don't always have to, and hopefully it looks like that. Sometimes it's a double asshole and it does some of these, but hopefully not that many times. Or what helps is also put the steaks in the fridge with salt on it, dry brining. This is a good key for tender meat. I'll try. I saw this lady on YouTube. She was recommending that after you cook it, if your steak has enough thickness, you should like place it on its side so that like both of the searing sides are like facing air, and that way hopefully gravity can help get rid of some of that moisture. She said like 10 minutes would be fine. Also, like I just had bought the steaks, seasoned them, vacuum sealed them, immediately threw them into the sous vide. Usually what I'll do is like most of the steaks I cook, I would say 90% of them, I season them, salt, garlic pepper, pepper, and they sit like overnight. The salt sucks up on that moisture. Last week I cooked a tomahawk steak that was dry brine, sous vide, and then searing the hell out of that meat. I haven't tried a tomahawk yet. I just got some New York strips and some ribeyes. I was shopping from Whole Foods, and Whole Foods was charging like $21 a pound for ribeye, and I went to Wegmans. Wegmans is charging like $13.50, $14 a pound. I'm about to just load up on ribeyes. Hey, Kite, if you trade with BTC inverse of petrol, are you short on you still gaining BTC? Are you short on... If you're short, are you still gaining BTC if you win it? Yes. Yes, you do. Because, obviously the dollar amount decreases, but your BTC amount does not. And if you're in a winning short trade, you're adding, like right now, I can show you. So far, I've added 1.2% of a BTC just by being short. Now, obviously, as the market drops, that 1.2 BTC or 0.012 BTC will continue to decrease in dollar value. But hopefully, we're still in the short, making up for that with extra BTC. And then hopefully the market bounces. Okay, what are you looking for to happen for long ABCs on BTC and ETH? Either one, we stay in this range and we put in a higher low. Hopefully towards the 0.382 to 0.5 region of the ABC structure that we're playing now, has a ABC towards the bottom. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so we'll use ETH for example. You can apply the same to BTC. All right, so this is the ABC structure that we're taking advantage of right here. All right, so if we take the top to bottom with fib retracements, all right, the 0.5 to 0.382 would be around the 1K area, 1030, for example. I want to see price action either do one of these little mamba jambas, and that way I'm comfortable getting a long from here and taking profit. Or if we do not see any major ABC structure, and I haven't even really decided yet, I think I might just hedge, because I do think that there is a possibility that this is just the last stretch, and we might see something like this, A, B, C, and then hopefully something like this, A, B, C, and then that starts building the bottom, or at least you would hope. Kite, do you know about option trading in Bybit? Nope, I haven't messed with it. And today the account is sitting at 4,400. Been chillaxing. We're up like 1K from a couple of these trades that we've had so far. Why this Sheeb 1000 is bumping? I have no clue. Don't care about Sheeb. Okay, you probably answered this many times, but I couldn't find the stream. How do you hedge? What's the advantage of having both long and short positions together? So, it's not necessarily what you might think. So some people, when they think of hedging, all right, and I did in the past, but it was on certain patterns. They think about this, like let's say you have a single point right here, and you go long from this point, and you're going short from this point. That's not necessarily true, because at that point, you're really just scared on having a concrete decision on what you think the market is going to do. All right, but I'm going to use this example again. It's very overused at this point, but it was one of the best hedging examples I've had in a long time that I actually did. All right, so right here, all right, the market was coming down, and it had an uptrend. All right, so during this period of time, I did have a couple longs, but I didn't take full advantage of this uptrend. So once we had this downtrend right here, obviously as we're moving within it, I spot all of the possible ABCs that are willing to be taken. And I spotted this one right here. Okay. So obviously we could have continued down lower and put in a lower low and formed a much larger ABC structure. But there is always the availability, especially when you're working with larger time frames, that it turns into a multi-part structure. So instead of seeing a straight A, a straight B, and a straight C, instead we could see A, and then A, B, C, B into a larger C, if that makes sense. All right. So from this, obviously I took my chances. So I took this original long right here and I held on to it until the market showed me, and I say this a lot, until the market showed me that there could be a larger probability for downside even past this original point. So once we put in this higher high right here, and we formed this much, much significantly larger ABC, that now has a higher probability of working itself out than the original. All right, but we can't quite be sure because sometimes this might turn into a 5 waver, where instead of ABCA, maybe we have ABC, ABCC. Make sense? Because this could have easily just went like this, like that. So I held on to my long position while still being, why did I say it like that? Being in my short position from, I didn't use this exact one. I used a little bit low. I used right here. Now, the reason why I held on to my long position was because I was unsure about what the market might do. Obviously, I knew the probability, but I was unsure if it could go further. Now, if you look from the point that I took that long, do you see any real viable long trades past that point? All right, you can see there was little tiny ones right here, but that is not even significant compared to the size of the original one I took. This could have turned into one, but it didn't. We put in a higher low. All right. So up until this point right here, you can see very clearly downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. All right. Once I saw that formation starting to form, once we put in a lower low past this point, this now becomes a viable long entry. So once we get a lower low and the setup is formed, I can take profit on my original long. All right, because now I have a new place of confidence to go long from if the market chooses to continue pumping. If not, I have the short position. I did not take profit on this long at the very, very tippy top, because how in the hell are you going to know that it's the very tippy top? All right, I took profit where I felt like I was secure to do so. And if I was wrong about taking profit, it was very easy for me to get back into a winning trade if the market was going to continue to pump. That's why hedging is important. All right. Now, there is times where I'll take hedges where I'm not willing to hold it all the way through. I might take a hedge on a short where I'll take profit at the 0.5, but still hold my long position. It's all dependent on how it's structured in its entirety and what the macro is telling me as well. Because at this moment in time, it wasn't just about that structure in particular, but the macro structure in its entirety. All right, it's why I held that short position all the way down to 27,000. All right, I took into account that we had a massive downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, which could become an A, and then we had uptrend. Oh, my bad. Uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, which could become our B wave. And if that is the case, if we have an A and a B, and we have a position from the top of the B, what should we be expecting? We should be expecting at least a casual retest of 33K, if not more. All right. In this case, it was more. All right. But, I take things in chronological order. All right. I did try to take a long position on the very small wicks that we had below and back above 33K because that was an ABC position. It could have very easily ended up that way, but it didn't. You never know what price action is going to do. Don't let other people tell you what it can and can't do. Listen to the thing that you're trading. It's like you're in a relationship and you listen to therapists about what your wife BTC wants, but you never listen to it. That's the problem with most people nowadays. Looking to everybody else for answers except for the one thing that they're actually trying to do. I've changed my trading strategy to ABCs because of you, so I practiced till my eyes bled on a few charts. Now I see that pattern everywhere. That's what's up, man. I'm glad. Where do you base your stop loss in the calculator? Can it be a fixed number like 1%? Yeah, it always is. Depending on the season, I might change the strategy slightly. Maybe add a little bit more stop loss. Maybe take away a little bit less stop loss. I've tried out different things. There's pros and cons to every single one. That's the problem. There is no perfect way. It's dependent on what do you personally like? Do you like high action? Or do you like slow and methodical and you're willing to wait? And maybe you don't have to choose one or the other. You can have different accounts for different strategies. Now that does become a much more larger hassle in its entirety, but you can do it. I said it before. It's you said any books on ABCs you recommend. My personal favorite, which is kind of like what led me into this strategy, was Harmonic Elliott Wave: A Case for Modification of Aaron Elliott's Impulse Wave Structure by Ian Copsley. What's up, Kite? What did I miss? Nothing much, man. It's the usual. We chilling out, having a good time, talking about things and stuff. Do you have a limit to take profit if price starts to move opposite without getting to your target? No. That's one of the things that people are deathly afraid of. Is Austin, what if I'm up $1,000 and all of a sudden we don't have an ABC that tells to go long, and it all turns to nothing. It all does in the end, anyways. All right, it's the fear of not walking away with anything that prevents you from walking away with everything. It's a hard thing to learn. Favorite rap group? I don't know if I've ever listened to a rap group. I guess the only group of rappers that I've ever listened to was Mayday. But I don't know if they still do rap. Obviously, I like rappers like Khan, Marlon Craft, It's Unreal, Whit Lowry, Lucidius, Token. There's a lot of people on that list. It's hard to pick one. But Khan is definitely like one of my favorites, most definitely. May I ask, what do you share with your paid members? Lately I haven't been in the Discord. Like, I've been chatting with people over text, but I haven't like actually stopped in. I share my thoughts on the market in real time. Like if I see a new position form and, like let's say that day I didn't hop on stream. I'm always there to answer questions. It's like a direct line of access. There's a channel literally called Questions for Kite. And sometimes it does take me a little bit to get to those messages, but I try. And like I said, it's I'm not trying to like offer it like it's a secret place where you're gonna learn how to be absolutely the best at everything. It's just a good way to support me, get interconnected with people that are trading the same, thinking the same. You can bounce ideas off of them, and really what it's about. I have a couple songs from Harry Mack on my playlist. I think my favorite song by him was Maybe I Do with Futuristic. ABC strategy, good. High ROI, bad. 5-6 times will hit stop loss, and I missed the 6 because I was sleeping at that time. It happens sometimes, man. Any hope with mana? No. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's falling off a cliff here, man. I mean, just look at the macro. You got a local low here and here. I mean, yeah, it does look like it could have a little bit ways to come back down, but all in all, I mean, it's looking decent for a newer coin, I guess. I just asked him, what is your daily bread and butter? Huh? Don't like where I make my money from. I have a main account where if I need like a larger transaction, I'll pull from. And I just haven't pulled anything from this account really because we haven't made a lot. You know, with the last couple of 1K accounts I've pulled out, you know, once we got to like 40, 50K, you know, just kind of like to reset everything. But this one is still far from being anywhere near done. And obviously the Patreon. Patreon helps a lot. And despite me not monetizing live streams, I still make a decent amount of money off of YouTube just from like the tutorials and stuff. Do you also base some of your bias off of on-chain metrics? I try not to. The last thing that I think I had a bias shift slightly was the HODL wave, because that's a real metric. Obviously, it's nice to look at these Fibonacci, you know, logarithmic charts. You know, it should be at this price point right now. Blah blah blah. That's just not real. Oh, it's cool to theorize, and it was cool to see that it followed that up to a T for a long time. But I think the HODL wave is one metric that is very true. And when I saw that it was at an all-time high, I do think that that's helping stabilize the market. You might go, well, we still dropped a lot, Austin. But I do think it could have been a lot worse, most definitely. After having the stop loss hit several times and you see your current positions are in profit, how do you fight the urge to take profit now? I mean, it's like I said, it's just it's a habit. It's a way of thinking. It's practice. But also think about it logically. You know, let's say you got stopped out 7 times and you're only up, let's say if you lost 1, you would lose $40. So that would be, what? I do this math. 28, be $280, right? So $280. Let's say you're only up 300. All right, it looks like a good amount of profit, but really in reality, you're only up $20. So why take profit now? You might go, well, we might be at bottom. We might be. What does that change? We might not. The EVP, thank you, man, for your educating message. Please check Soul. To me, it looks like Soul wants to go ahead and put in a lower low. I mean, we really don't see much going on. This is just a downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. Obviously, we can see something within that, but that's not too crazy. And that would help us get back down to this local low, which would be a very, very good place to find support. Would you get offended if I told you you sound a bit like, is it the glasses? I want to be offended, man. I keep getting G in a vicious cycle of success and failure. You read Training in the Zone yet? There's a chapter about you, and there was a chapter about me until I finally just shifted my mindset. It was called The Boom Bust Trader. Now, hopefully, the one benefit you have is a usual characteristic of a boom bust trader is they do very, very well. And the second that things start to go bust, they change up everything. They add new indicators. They take away indicators. And I guess there is a chance that you could do that with ABCs as well. Maybe you change your stop loss dramatically. Maybe you change your risk dramatically. Like, you're constantly shifting things, and you never give time for things to just find out whether or not is it really a statistical disadvantage or if it is simply an unlucky moment in your strategy. That's what a boom bust trader is. You never give time for the market to just be a market. It's always got to be a fight. All right, guys. I think I'm going to end it a little bit early. I'm kind of hungry. I got to get this steak cooking because takes an hour for it to cook. So I appreciate you guys very much. As always, I'll try to be a little bit more on time tomorrow than I was today. We weren't too bad. I mean, we showed up at like, what, 2 o'clock, only an hour late. I always give you guys like a 3-hour window. That's when I try. But, yeah, love to see it. Market's doing well. Hopefully it continues. And we make the money. Right, let's choose a song for the outro today. I've just been playing songs off my my playlist that I've already played. So if you guys like any of the songs that I play, they're already in this playlist. We'll do this one. This one's only 2 minutes. Actually, no. I think I played that one before. I actually didn't quite like that song. We'll play this one. No, that just does not feel right. Man, we'll play the good book. We'll have a con day. How about that? Knowledge above all nonsense. Time for cringe stare. Make it count. I want to call it cringe, man. It's not cringe. All right, you guys ready? I can't see you. My vision's actually really bad. It's just all one big blur. Goodbye.
We should shine a light on, a light on. And a book I write on, it was right on. We should shine a light on, a light on. And a book I write on, it was right on.
Apologies due for the intermission. I've been laying low and laying back using my intuition. I've been feeling a sense of pressure. Procrastination's a killer. Working till my last breath on the same wavelength as no one ever. Trying to give you something timeless, not the feelings. Ain't no faking, no facade, and just working hard till they feel us. Who the realest? I'm stuck in the underground with the villains. Still have yet to reach my ceiling. I'm pushing dope like I'm coke. Don't listen to people cause they know nada. I'm trying to turn this dream that I got into $1 million. I'm trying to stack my bread till it's old. That mold Chibata. My mind work like a computer. My process is robotic. My flows are colonic. The shit, there ain't no way you can stop it. Real niggas us never die, we multiply and cycle chaotic. Now they could jet a revolutionary, not the revolution. An equal exchange of energies, that's the only solution. Said it's prudent, we still moving. Internalizing all the pain, I found a way to use it. Ingrained inside the nigga brain with all the convolutions. And if you think they got the answer to our problems, then you live in a state of delusion. Through negative aspects, the way that we live in is complex. Still unaware of the vision a nigga been giving inside of that content. I'm writing these rhymes and giving these lines, I hope they still connect. Still obsessed, still the same as I was when I started.